Nithyananda, welcome to the first Enlightened Parenting session in this new year, 2021. So I'm going to begin by invoking Swamiji, our Guru, into the space to guide us through the session. So let's sit with the back straight. Let's invoke Swamiji by chanting the Sadguru Vandanam. Please mute yourself, though not unmute, because we're on a live now. Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamutim Vanjvatitam Gaganashatrisham Tattvamasya Dilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Savadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarihitam Satguruntam Namami. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda, welcome to today's Enlightened Parenting session. So basically, as you know, the topic is how, if your child has an addiction, how are you going to help them? Okay, so I'm going to share with you the presentation document. So the way how I'm going to run today's session is I will present the understanding, some facts about addiction, some understanding about from the spiritual context, what is the addiction? Then after that, we will open for question and answer. So I know many people would like to have that segment, you know, whether it's a question regarding, you know, people that you know or your loved ones. So we will leave that for the Q&A, but at the same time, what we do is that we set up the context first. The first part is the context setting, okay? Are you following me? Yes? So in any point in time, only when, you know, we're open for question answer, then you can unmute yourself. So you can let me know through the chat that you would like to have a question, and then we can unmute you, okay? So when you join the session also, please mute yourself so that, you know, at any point in time, only one person will be speaking. So once again, welcome to today's session on the topic of addiction. I tell you, addiction is such a big thing in the modern society. Part of the reason is because of the unconscious way of living. So, but it is something that we have to address. Only spiritual solution will be able to help. So let's look at it from that understanding. Okay, I'm going to share the document now. Okay, so let's. Okay, are you able to see the document? Yes? Give me a thumbs up, you're able to see the document? Yeah, okay. So in today's session, we're starting the first Enlightened Parenting session for this year. My name is Nithyananda. I'm from Singapore. I'm actually the Gurukul lead in Asia, Southeast Asia. And so working together with Malalau, Shankari, and also of course Ma White, who is the, you know, the head of Gurukul, E-Gurukul globally. So
cannot hear you now.
Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me now? The rest, are you able to hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. You can't hear me? No, the rest is okay. Malala, you want to adjust your mic? Okay. So let me just go through a quick introduction on about myself. So like I say, I've been with Gurukul since 2011. Basically now it's almost 10 years. 10 years in the whole journey of Gurukul, and Gurukul is one of my passion and my contribution in Swamiji's mission. And because Gurukul, it's, something that I passionately believe in, and, in raising the kids and helping the kids as well as the parents. So in today's topic, I want to talk about how to help your child who has a pattern of addiction. If you discover your kids is addicted to something, how are you able to help your child, to come out of this pattern? Okay, so you need to understand from the spiritual context, because that is only going to be the permanent solution. Anything that is not coming from the spiritual solution, it is just skin deep. That means you're only treating the, you're not treating the root of the problem. Okay, so let's enter into the presentation itself. So I want to share with you the 10 most common addiction by this addiction helper. I just basically Google. So the 10 of them, the last one I added myself. There were 9, at the 10 I added myself. First is drug addiction, as you want to know, substance abuse, which is very common. Gambling, right? Gambling is another one. Food addiction, food disorder. Video game addiction, whether it's Xbox, any kind of video games, internet video games. Internet addiction, that means constantly need to be in internet and addicted. They feel that if they are not on internet, they have withdrawal syndrome. Of course, sex addiction, whether it's addicted to pornography or any kind of sexual fantasy. Then work addiction, addicted to work, and of course, alcohol addiction, which is a big part of another substance abuse due to the social whoever, Cindy, you just joined, please mute yourself. Thank you. So alcohol addiction is a very, very severe problem in many of the city, because many places alcohol is very much seen as a social, social gathering kind of activity that people do. Like social drinking is very much allowed, legal. So as a result, that alcohol addiction can be quite severe if it is not addressed carefully, because it's too easy to fall into alcohol addiction. Then smoking is another one. And the last one I put in is technology addiction. Okay, so these are all kinds of addiction. So let me just stop here for now. Cindy, I already told you have to mute yourself. I'm Ma Shankari, I'm going to put you the co-host. Whoever comes in, please mute them, because I cannot be going back and forth on the slides. Very difficult to manage like that. Okay, can you help me to mute those people who joined in? Thanks. And all of you, if you can also, turn on the camera. If you are having this is a live session, I'm coming on Facebook Live. It is only a courtesy if I can see you, okay? Yes. I would appreciate you to turn on your camera if you're attending the session as a person. Okay? Hi, Liz. My student, she's waving at me. Okay, so let me just carry on with the slide. Okay, so I just talked about the 10 top addiction in the common addiction in the world. Now let's look at some quick facts on addiction, like for instance, USA. So in USA, under the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, actually they found that 19.7 million Americans adult aged 12 and older battle with a substance abuse disorder in 2017. That's a huge number. And almost 74% adults suffering from substance abuse disorder in 1917 also have an alcohol use disorder. It means not just substance, but they also have alcohol. And about 38% of adults in 2007 battled illicit drug use disorder. That same year, 1 out of 8 adults struggle with both alcohol and drug use disorder simultaneously. So as you can see in USA, alcohol and drugs are the two common substance abuse. In 2017 also, 8.5 million American adults suffered from both mental health disorder and substance abuse disorder, okay? So essentially, because of this addiction, it costs more than 740 billion annually in workplace loss in workplace productivity, healthcare expenses, and crime-related costs. Because of these people who are living in a very, they're struggling with addiction. They're actually being a burden to the society, okay? So, and it is costing like 740 billion American dollars yearly in terms of loss of productivity, healthcare expenditure, and also crime-related costs, just to maintain the law and order. Because these people, once they are addicted, they can be violent and they can be totally, out of control. Okay, so also let's look at some quick facts on India. Okay, these are I would say, one of the largest country in the whole world. I did not pick up China because I'm not sure whether data are available. So anyway, so approximately 26 million people in India have used, basically drugs. Opiates means drugs in some way or another. And more than 6 million people in India suffer from drugs use disorder. 11.8 million people use sedative and inhalants. That means some kind of substance. And 460,000 children and 1.8 million adults need help as a result of inhalant abuse. That means they're inhaling something just to get a high. 850,000 people inject drugs into themselves and are addicted. So 14.6% of total population of India, meaning 160 million people, basically, they suffer from alcohol addiction. So same thing in India, drugs is also becoming a big problem as well as alcohol. Okay, so you can see some similarities in the both in developed nation like America and also developing country like India. Drugs and alcohol are one of the, I would say, great issue. And plus also the addiction like gaming, all this is not so easy to detect because these are the recent new addiction that people do not report. Whereas drugs and alcohol, it's much more easier to detect and report because once they go into this abusive, I would say violent nature, normally they end up in a report, by the family or in a police station. Whereas other more subtle addiction, whether it's food, whether it's internet addiction, pornography, all these are much more kind of at the closet, hidden. Nobody report about that. So truly, you don't know they are actually addicted to that unless they come out into open and declare openly that, yes, I'm addicted to this. So a lot of these are not reported, to be honest with you. So one thing I can conclude is addiction is a problem in the modern world society. Do you all agree? Whether it's reported or not reported, we know that addiction is a huge problem. So Swamiji gave some basic truth about addiction from the spiritual context, okay? So what are they? He said that addiction is nothing but an escape from life. In whatever form life presents to you, you're not ready to accept what life is showing you. And because you don't want to face the issues that you have, you're trying to escape from some issue or thought, thinking by through the destruction of addiction, you'll be able to squeeze more joy out of life. That means escapism. When you try to escape, what life is presenting to you again and again and again, your inability to handle, to face life, makes you resort to addiction. So the truth is, we can never elongate the joy shelf by addicting to something. It's only by infusing awareness we can truly experience the bliss beyond any object. It means entering into the inner space where you don't need anything from outside to feel blissful. Bliss means you're happy, joyful without anything outside. Whereas joy and happiness, you still need an object or something outside to keep that joy or happiness. Whereas bliss is coming from within, where nothing is needed, you're just in the pure blissful state. Okay? Next, life with addiction is such an abusive wave of living. It is like disrespecting life, the very life itself. Okay? People with addiction are like living dead, but yet to be buried only. See, that means their life is wasted. Okay, people with addiction, their life is wasted because they're no longer able to be conscious. You see, when anything that's unconscious, it is they are not actually operating like a human being anymore. Okay, so living a life with addiction is like a slow death. Do you understand? You're just abusing what the gift of life and destroying yourself, going on a path of self-destruction in a gradual way. Okay. Next, addiction makes you feel that if you don't do it, you feel terrible that you're missing it. Like, so if you do it, you won't feel the joy or the fulfillment. In fact, you feel guilty and powerless. So either way, do it or not doing it, you just feel horrible. That is what addiction is making you feel. Either you feel guilty and powerless because you did it again, which you know is not good for you, or when you don't do it, you feel restless. You feel like you're missing it. So doing and not doing, you're caught in this dilemma. So constantly you're put in this whole mental torture of feeling terrible when you're missing it, or feeling guilty and powerless when you did it. So it's just this whole, it's like a mental hell. You're living in hell, not knowing what to do or not to do, you still feel horrible. So you need to understand, at first you will enjoy the addiction. Let's say whether it's smoking or alcohol, you're enjoying it. But slowly it starts enjoying you, meaning with this same unconscious pattern, you're not living life because essentially that thing has taken over, your consciousness. So you are just letting that addiction feed you, taking your life away from you day by day. Okay. And you'll be swallowed by this addiction, without you even knowing it. Okay. So that's the basic truth about addiction from the spiritual context. So especially when I see children or teenagers caught in addiction, because nowadays there are too many temptations, whether it's video game addiction, whether it's handphone addiction, electronic gadgets addiction, or food addiction, whatever kind of addiction, the children are starting to get stuck at a very young age, especially if you are all our parents. Please be aware, because there are too many temptations out there, especially in the internet front, too easily accessible. When you give your child a handphone, it doesn't mean it's just a handphone for calling. It opens the door to many vices that you are not even aware. Many things get pushed into them. You're not even aware they are exposed to it. So it's very important you know how to, one, protect your kid. Second, how to educate your kids so that they don't fall into the trappings of these unconscious patterns. Understand? It is too easy to fall into addiction, which I will tell you later on why. Okay? Why the modern day so many people fall into addiction? It is too easy. Okay, let me just go on to the next slide. Swamiji also said addiction is a conscious cancer. It means no amount of psychotherapy or counseling can fully cure the pattern of addiction, because It is a cancer from the consciousness, which can only be burned by the fire of consciousness. See, the consciousness is like fire. Only when you infuse consciousness, addiction will just be burned away. The person can only walk out of addiction only by consciousness, not otherwise. Otherwise, what I'm saying is that they will just, okay, for instance, get distracted. They try to use their mind to say, okay, I try not to get into the, the addiction again. But unless they're conscious, it's a conscious decision to the consciousness, the mind will pull them back again and again to the addiction. All addiction comes from the root pattern of restlessness after we move away from the space of wholeness, okay? Which I'll come to that later on. The good news is our consciousness can never be touched by the unconscious addiction. Addiction can only happen in the unconscious zone. So the only antidote for addiction is by infusing consciousness through spiritual understanding, awareness, and spiritual practices. Understand? This is the only way you can help anyone or children to come out of addiction is through spiritual understanding, awareness, and spiritual practices. Abhyasa. Okay? So I see a lot of people try to send their kids to some psychotherapy, some kind of psychiatry. I'm telling you, it's a waste of time. You can try if you want, but it's never going to work. Only by spiritual solution only they can be fully, permanently be cured from addiction, because they need to understand. I'm having a live session. Yeah. They need to understand how this is happening and how they should come out of it. Only by them being conscious, then they will understand. So here, I want to share about 6 powerful cognitions about addiction, which is given by Swamiji through the various discourses like Bhagavad Gita, Shiva Sutra, Yoga Sutras. There's so many areas that he talked about addiction, okay? And these are some of the, I call gems, pearls of wisdom, which I picked up from him. 6 powerful cognition about addiction, okay? And I'll go through one by one because you need to catch this powerful cognition, then you'll be able to help humanity, people. How to come out of this addiction? Only by powerful cognition, okay? Powerful cognition is one thing, bringing understanding. Then infusing spiritual practices. See, addiction is nothing but muscle memory level pattern. It's at the muscle memory, okay? Because it is not at a biomemory, because it did not happen, it did not come from past birth. It's only when in this body only they start to have addiction, which means it's muscle memory level. Something they did it repeatedly again and again, and it start become a muscle memory pattern, which means it's not that skin deep. A muscle memory pattern can be easily reprogrammed if they start changing their lifestyle, changing their spiritual practices, changing their spiritual routine. If by changing their routine, they can be reprogrammed. The muscle memory can be reprogrammed. So that is the good news. It is not that difficult. You need to know how to reprogram their muscle memory for addiction. Okay? Give me a thumbs up. I'm just, before I go into the 6 powerful cognition, are you all tracking with me? Okay, Malalau is good. Nyana is okay. Nithyananda is okay. What about the rest? Have a look. Yes, good. Okay. So now I'm going to go through this 6 powerful cognition one by one. Okay. See, all these are, I would say, sacred secret or truth that I learned from Swamiji about addiction. Especially he gave a very long satsang in Bhagavad Gita about addiction. So I'm going to use that discourse to share with all of you. Okay, first, restful awareness is our nature. See, our very nature, we want to be in restful awareness, to be in the state of awareness, we need to be trained to be conscious through conscious practice and meditation. See, that means all the spiritual routine like yoga, meditation, breathing, all this give us that restful awareness, put us constantly back to the restful awareness. The problem is this kind of training is not provided by the modern educational system unless the child is studying in Gurukul, Vedic education system, guided by a guru. But the modern education system do not give this kind of training. That means the conscious practice and meditation, putting the kids again and again back to restful awareness. Because we're never taught how to be in restful awareness consciously in our education life. So because of that, when the conscious is not engaged in life, when our conscious is not engaged, since our interest or enthusiasm is not created, because you're not engaged, you're not enthusiastic about life, you're not excited or passionate about life, we start moving outside. That means inside you don't feel that you are comfortable being alone with yourself or being at peace with yourself. We start to move outside to search for things that are not needed in our life. It means you direct your entire awareness outside. Okay, your energy is now channeled to outside things, whether it's object or people or anything, activity, to give you that, kick in your life, entertainment in your life. Understand? See, if you're able to be in restful awareness, all the entertainment is coming from inside. You will be sitting and entering a different dimension and different state of consciousness. But because we never trained that way, we start moving outside and start looking at things and playing with things outside. Okay? When this happens, we make it into a habit very quickly. See, when the unconscious take over, it becomes a habit so quickly. Anything that makes us unconscious, it becomes a habit very quickly. Understand? Even for you as a parent, anything you do unconscious, it becomes your habit. So if you also are aware of this thing about you, you will also be imparting this mental pattern only to your kids. So you need to be aware as a parent. You cannot just expect your kid to be conscious and you can live in unconscious level. There's no such thing. You have to be conscious so that you also don't live with certain addiction or pattern by yourself. And because are so intelligent, they can see through. So when you can't be with ourselves in restful awareness, that means you can't sit in silence with yourself. You're not able to, be at peace with yourself. Shanti is not happening with yourself. Okay? We seek entertainment or distraction in the outer world. That entertainment, that distraction is part of the addiction, whether it's, some kind like adrenaline based activity, whether it's some thrill to give the boost into the adrenaline charge, give them a temporary high. The high is very easy to put us into unconscious. Because of the high, again, you fall into unconscious after that. It is like killing ourselves as the frequent adrenaline release to get a feeling of high. It means that we're entering into the unconscious enjoyment that dull our senses. When you get constantly being, I would say, stimulated by this so-called adrenaline release, you get into the high, yes. After that, you fall into depression easily because it's unconscious enjoyment and dulls your senses. You more and more, you become unconscious. More and more, you become unaware. Okay, so that is how addiction becomes so quickly a habit in human being. Are you all understanding what I'm saying? Give me a thumbs up. You're tracking with me. Okay. So if you understand, if our nature is restful awareness, whatever we are doing, especially in Gurukul, we're constantly trying to bring kids to restful awareness, restful awareness. That means whether it's through yoga, through puja, through powerful cognitions, through power manifestation, we're constantly engaging them in that 2-3 hours time to bring them back to the restful awareness. Understand? Only when they taste the restful awareness, they will remember this dimension in them exists. Otherwise, they will be looking outside for entertainment only. That entertainment, if it is unconscious, it becomes a habit and it becomes an addiction. Okay? Yes. Next. Tendency to move away from light. This what Swamiji says in Sanskrit, Valanka. Okay? So, see, we have forgotten that we are Kalpataru, we are source of light. Within each one of us, we are the source of light, which is sitting inside us, in our heart. The expansion of light is destroyed by constantly moving to outer world things. See, in the Shiva Sutra, I remember Swamiji says that when you turn your energy outside, you see only the Jagat, the world. When you turn your awareness inside, you see Ishvara, God. When you keep moving outside, you only see the world, Jagat. When you move your energy inside, then you only experience God. Pooja, you can just join. Can you please mute yourself? Yes, thank you. So understand, if we can spend an hour a day by engaging ourselves with source of light, whether it's your spiritual routine. That's why Swamiji said an hour a day. You know, it's the me time you need to give to yourself. It not only heal us, but also make us take responsibility in anything in our life. Okay. Unfortunately, we're trying to find methods externally instead of trusting solution internally. If you know that all the problem you created outside, the solution lies within you. You will not be moving outside. You will try to seek the answer inside because only you created it. Okay. So hence, we neither trust or work nor work on the internal solution. All problem outside, you know, you can find spiritual solution. Whether you trust that spiritual solution from inside is what you need to start seeking. The seeking starts that process of finding answer from inside. Okay. Third powerful cognition, restlessness pattern create addiction of desire and anger. Okay, this is a very, very fascinating truth. Okay, see, when you're unaware, okay, with unawareness, it brings certain anxiety within us. The mixing of anxiety and panic in unawareness create restlessness. How we are so restless. Okay, so in our brain, there is a part which is responsible for thickening of logic. This thickening of logic is responsible for the administration abilities and multi-dimensional responsibility. When we don't take up responsibility, the brain will just engage in expanding in central pleasure patterns. That means when you don't take up responsibility to engage in this higher dimension in us, what happens is your brain will naturally engage in those sense pleasure, things that give you pleasure, whether it's food, whether it's taste, sight, anything that related to the five senses, okay? It means you're caught in the sense pleasure instead of directing your energy for the higher consciousness. When it fails, restlessness become anger, okay? When you are not able to get into the restful awareness. The restlessness which was created becomes anger pattern, like frustration. So the basic pattern of desire and anger that are born out of restlessness. Understand? Restlessness creates anger and desire. Okay? So the moment your logic is thickened and you don't feel responsible for all that is happening around you, you become a cunning and irresponsible rebel. You rebel everything in life. You just want to rebel because of the restlessness and anger that you're feeling inside, which is you're seeing that in a lot of children, a lot of teenagers. They become a rebel and very cunning because why? They do not know how to handle their restlessness inside. It is not that, they want it, but they are not able to handle because of that restlessness. So our thickened logic ideally should be engaged in creativity, or else we're constantly working in cunningness. Either you're creative or you're cunning. So one of the things that you should do as a parent, listen very carefully, help your kids to find their passion so that they start expressing their creativity. Otherwise, they'll be using the energy to be cunning, to cheat people in life or cheat themselves in life, which is not what you want, okay? Especially they're so intelligent. The kids now, they are so intelligent. If you don't guide them to the right path of discovering their passion and engaging in creativity, they will use that energy to create something that is detrimental, or not only to others, but to themselves, okay? So restlessness is the source of anger and desire, which is the worst enemy in the world, okay? Either restlessness is converted into awareness, which takes responsibility for everything happening around us, or it put us in this pattern of anger and it just destroy us, okay? So, which is not what we want, understand? So, and put us in this conflicting pattern of greed and anger. Constantly you're being torn in between greed and anger, desire, anger, desire, anger. So that is, a very, very frustrating way to exist in life if you're caught in this restlessness pattern. Okay, now, next, infuse conscious practice, abhyasa. This is the solution given in Yoga Sutra, abhyasa. Okay, now understand all our suffering from addiction are due to our unconscious practices. In fact, man's unconscious layer is 9 times more than the conscious level. So you can imagine it is so easy to fall into the unconscious layer because it's 9 times stronger than your conscious layer. And if you're weak, mentally weak, you will just cooperate with the unconscious layer and then you become unconscious. Okay? Whenever action gets repeated, it becomes unconscious, like involuntary action. Because you do it so many times, you don't do it with awareness anymore. It becomes like a repetition, muscle memory level action. If we don't allow any unconscious habit, every moment we'll feel alive and aware. Anything we do is deeply connected to our muscle, your body and the muscle level. Anything we do repeatedly, it gets strengthened in our muscle. Unconscious practices or habits, if they are encouraged and strengthened, we become unconscious. Understand? Anything you're doing unconsciously, if they are encouraged or strengthened, we become unconscious. It's as simple as that. So to live an integrated life with awareness, all we need is this conscious practice. Change all the unconscious practice to conscious practice, abhyasa, practice that can be understood in 2 ways. Constantly coming back to our center of restful awareness. Put us again and again back to that awareness, unclutched space, letting everything else melt away. Any emotion, any silliness, any violence, all that get melt away. Only restful awareness. Or constantly not letting samskara and grave memory gather inside us. Okay? Coming back to the restful awareness, or do not accumulate engraved memories, samskaras, which again will, if you allow samskara to happen, you will sprout into karma. Understand? It means incompletion and all that. So all spiritual practices in the Vedic lifestyle are designed to put us back to our default state of restful awareness, the unclutched state. This is where we want to be. All spiritual practices, I mean capital letter ALL in the Vedic tradition, whether it's yoga, breathing, anything that we do, meditation, what the master, the rishis, the sages are trying to help us is again put us back to the restful awareness instead of unconscious. Okay. Next. See, you need to understand that the Vedic lifestyle is all about celebration. It's all about, engaging in life. It is a conscious entertainment, whether it's, playing with the deity, whether it's power manifestation, whether it's, Vedic cooking, whether it's puja, anything. If you look at all the Vedic lifestyle, the things that we do, it is conscious entertainment, which is the best thing. It makes us conscious. So it is time we get back to this lifestyle because in Vedic tradition, entertainment is, they're all consciousness based. It's not unconscious. It will not put you to unconscious. It only awakens you. So it's important for parents, teachers to infuse awareness in children through spiritual practices like yoga, pranayama, meditation, puja, Vedic chanting, festivals that celebrates, this whole lifestyle, everything that we do, even the Vedic arts, the 64 Vedic arts, whether it's archery, whether it's, rangoli, even garland making for deities, anything that we do is again and again to bring kids back to the space of restful awareness. So these conscious practices not only balance them, but also create a space of possibility in them. Okay? Now, this is the last powerful conclusion. A real master fill your being with enthusiasm. See, addiction and enthusiasm are completely opposite to each other. It means you can either have one. They're mutually exclusive. Either you're addicted or you're enthusiastic. So it's better to bring up a child that is enthusiastic than addicted, okay? Things that give addiction can never give enthusiasm. When you're addicted, you lose your enthusiasm. Only when you're enthusiastic in life, addiction will never even touch you. You go beyond addiction. So I've seen so many people walk out addiction after attending the 21-day in awakening retreat with Swamiji. In that alchemy process, he just make high enthusiasm in as a very quality of our life. We're constantly being so highly excited, enthusiastic about life, which is the kind of joy overflowing through our intelligence. So enthusiasm is creativity. It is in those few moments of creation that we're experiencing God, the divine, intensely in our inner space. So high enthusiasm is the real wealth which only a master can bestow when he fills our being with life. So that is through initiation by enlightened master. He basically put that life back to you, and that enthusiasm, the positivity, life positivity towards, everything. So that's my last slide. I would like to pause now for the moment to take the Q&A. So you can type on the chat. I'm just going to take a look at the I'm just taking a look at the Facebook. If there's anyone who, you can also ask the question from Facebook, and I will come and check if the questions are asked from Facebook Live, and then we can address the question. So all of you who are going to now, ask me to have, your question answered, can you please turn on your camera so that I can see you? Please turn on your camera so that I know I can see who you are. Janice Leon, so now, Pooja, can you all turn on your camera, please? Maha Abutacharitra. Yes. Can you all turn on the camera, please? So any questions so far? What I have spoken about addiction?
Yes, I have one, Ma.
Wait, let me just see. Okay.
I have one question, Ma.
From the French group?
Yes, there is a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, it is that what to do when a child is already installed in this habit that is quite strong and is the resistance to all these spiritual practices and understanding. How to bring them to that understanding.
Is this child already a teenager, Ma?
Yes.
Yeah. See, for teenagers, it's not so easy because they already got their own mind, right? See, anything that's younger is easier to, they're much more malleable. It means moldable. They can just come back to the space of the child easily, especially for teenager. If the parents has not built a communication channel, it means a relationship with the child. When the parents try to extend help, you will be faced with a lot of resistance because you're never there for them. So suddenly you're trying to interfere in their life. They perceive it as not welcome. They don't want it. So that's why I told a lot of parents, start building their relationship with your child when they are young. The communication and the communion should happen. If they ever fall into the addiction, you can easily access. They will be, they will make it accessible for you. The door will be open for you to interfere and help them. But when they are not, they have not done the foundational work of building their relationship with the child, that complicates another layer of the healing process. Okay, so so those parents who have not have kids have addiction who are still young, please start doing the actual proper work of establishing that communication, that friendly communication between yourself and the child. Once that happens, whenever the child veer off to the, into the path of self-destruction, you can bring them back easily. Okay, so this is the advice I'm giving to parents whose kids are, still very much younger, and you are still very much able to mold them. Now let's look at what Mala Laos has raised, which is already a teenager, right? Recently, I have worked with an 18-year-old boy, okay? He's addicted to some gaming cards, okay? And he even, like I said, remember with that restlessness in make him become very cunning. So he would cheat his parents or his auntie to get the money to buy, to indulge in his addiction. Okay? So when they discover that, they got very annoyed with him. Of course, he spent all the money which was given to him, that means he squandered all the saving just to buy some cards. And he was not able to stop. So the parents get very worried. In fact, they almost want to give up on him. So the thing is, one of the devotees, actually she's here, Ma Shankari. She's actually like a tutor of this child, and she basically asked, how can we help this boy, 18-year-old, who's addicted to some kind of cards, unconscious, okay? So there are many levels. Actually, the process is still ongoing. It is not like overnight it happened, because this addiction thing took over, many years already, maybe a few years he has been addicted to this. It just get more and more severe over time. So basically, I put him through certain so-called therapy, okay? It's a therapy, rehabilitation therapy, where he, by understanding all this spiritual knowledge, so I give him certain spiritual routine to start reprogramming his muscle memory. It means yoga, intense, heavy yoga, and make sure that he does also certain kriyas to basically start infusing new energy in him. Okay, so that's the physical part of programming. Then I give him powerful cognition as to how the addiction is destroying him. It's like waking him up. Initially he was struggling, yeah, like there's still, the muscle memory and the mind still struggling, and the consciousness will say, yes, I want to get out. But these three things are pulling him apart, right? So in the first few weeks, there will be certain instability. That means I call that transition phase. The transition phase where he's going through the reprogramming in the muscle memory level, but the strength of the conscious will is need to be strengthened, need to be enhanced during the process. That means you need to give a lot of support to this child. See, when I help him trace back how he created this addiction, basically it's very simple. He's not loved. So for a child, never experienced love, like he feels that he's living in a place where, you know, nobody care about him. So the way he feels like, what, what is there if I waste my life? Nobody loves me, nobody care about me. So let me just go and do something. So that's why a lot of people, when a lot of children, especially teenager, if they don't feel love, they're not fulfilled. They're carrying this root pattern of I'm not loved, you know, I'm not worthy. They, they, a lot of them direct their wounds, this inner wound, to addiction, because that pain inside they're not able to handle. They go outside and get some cheap thrill to feel, make them feel good, make them feel it is okay, so that temporary distraction to numb their senses, to numb their awareness, to just feel that okay, I can just be, some certain adrenaline rush, and they just feel good about it. And then of course when they go to whatever, community they're addicted to, they all support each other, so they feel good. Oh, I have someone who really listens to me, someone the community, of the gamers, they feel that, oh, they found some kind of family or community they belong to. So that's how they keep the addiction alive. So basically, when he was shown the root pattern of why he moved away from the restful awareness, he moved away looking things from outside as a distraction. When he caught that, he understood how he created this. What is what is the root pattern and incompletion that caused him to move away from restful awareness, from life, escape from life? So when he started to understand that, he started to become willing to cooperate, willing to do, to get himself out of this low consciousness state. Okay, so see, another challenge I have with this teenager is that because of the unconscious way of living, he doesn't have a proper diet. He is eating a lot of junk food, and his father feeds him junk food as well. So he's constantly in downness, sleepiness. That means he constantly want to sleep. So you'll be talking to him in the session, after that he will like want to fall asleep. So which means he cannot hold awareness. He's in such a dull state, unconscious state. So even try to do spiritual, understanding is a challenge because the body is not cooperating. So I have to crank up his, physical activity. Very give him intense dynamic meditation to help him, uh, you know, basically awaken many of these energy channels, which is all now lying dormant or asleep. Maybe out of 72,000 nadis, he's probably operating less than 10,000 nadis only. The rest are all sleeping. So I had to give him a very powerful energy, boosting channel, meditation so that he wakes up. Okay. So like this only, it all depends on the solution of the individual, to be honest with you. For an older teenager, they need to go through certain rehabilitation therapy, not just simple solution. If let's say if the parents can take up the responsibility to help, then it's easier. But if the parents do not have the knowledge or are not willing to do, then external help needs to be engaged. Okay, so that would be my answer to Malalao's question from the devotee. I hope I answered the question. Yes. I'm giving you a real life example, a case I'm working now, but I'm seeing he's making progress. So maybe in another month's time, I'll be able to tell whether the therapy works for him or not. But I can see that he's getting much more conscious and aware. I mean, at least now he stopped the the card gaming, addiction. At least now he's trying to realign himself and what you call that? Rebuild his conscious identity. See, all the identity he built himself, all the inner image, outer image, life image, and others image was built unconsciously, because he came from a broken family. Parents are divorced and separated, and so basically he felt that he's not wanted. And through this process, we help him regain that confidence that you're, celebrated by life. So I think that is something that we are trying to help him understand, and that it doesn't mean that whatever has been done, cannot be changed. He can rewrite his future. So that's what we're trying to do for him. And let's see, I'd be more than happy to share if, how it works for this teenager. Okay. Yes. This Ma Leila, she left already. Okay. So yes, you have to help your child to find their passion. Otherwise, they'll be indulged in video games, silly things on internet. Because all the internet, the companies is trying to have a mind share of your child. Every mind share they occupy, they earn money. They either earn money or they occupy you, entertain you. Okay? If you're conscious, you will not be entertained. You don't need entertainment outside. All entertainment are coming inside. Okay? So this is the cunning plan of all those money-making, profit-making organizations out there. They will catch your child while they're young, when they're still not, what you call it, when they're still unaware, so vulnerable. And you as a parent, you're not aware of all these dangers or trappings to make them unconscious. Or you yourself is one of the victims. You allow your child to also fall into the unconscious. Then you not only have to deal with the unconscious addiction, your child also be falling into one. Understand? So be very clear, the world we have outside there, they're filled with too many unconscious temptation, distraction out there to catch your child. If you're not aware, if you're not able to infuse powerful cognition to your kids, they will, in one day, be lost to those, patterns of addiction. Okay. Any other question? Let me see. Looks like there's no question. Everybody understood what this subject is all about. I'm so happy. We can close the session now. That means perfectly, either you are mind blown by the session, you don't know what to ask, this is too much, so scared about this problem, oh my God, how am I going to help a child? Either you're in that state or you are, okay, I don't have this problem, I don't have question. So which one are you now? One or two?
Nithyananda,
Yes, Sona?
I have a question.
Yes,
Like,
please
Ma,
ask.
if you can just say some practices or any meditation which we can start for the kids, which make them more restful, aware, and if the child is on the boundary of going to that addiction pattern in the teenage, what we can, as a parent, we can start it, Ma.
See, I mean, always start with yoga. Yoga is good because yoga is help with not just muscle memory programming. It activates many things, whether it's detoxification or purification and infused awareness. Okay, so yoga is definitely one big help, and then also depending on, I would suggest for young kids, Give them dynamic meditation. It means a lot of movement. Don't make them sit. They need dynamic meditation. Intense dynamic meditation, a lot of movement.
Can you name few more? Kind of like skeleton dancing.
Yeah, that's one of them. There are so many techniques that you can see. They can, check it out that Swamiji has given. Dynamic. Make sure that they move the body.
Okay.
Because at that age, if they ask them to sit, they will fall into downers. Yeah, they can't. Give them dynamic meditation. Okay, that's one possible way. Okay.
And one more thing, like my son, he's around 12, going to be 12. And the whole day he will be full active, doing jumping here and there, everything. But still in night, he's not sleeping like how the kid should just fall sleep. What Swamiji says, like you should just wither out like wither out. So he will be just tossing down here and there, not fully able to sleep peacefully, ma.
Do you know the reason?
No, ma, I'm not able to get the reason.
Basically, see, if what he was doing before his sleep, do you know?
Like we tried that before 1 hour of sleep, there are no gadgets. He will be playing with his brother or with parents or something like that, or reading a book or something like that, but no gadgets.
See, Swamiji says that before we enter into the sleep state, deep sleep state, you almost need about 15 minutes to relax the whole body to enter into that sleep zone, okay? Try to make him teach him how to relax his body.
Okay.
Relax the body part by part and make him fall asleep. Or the other way is through certain breathing, can calm him down and get into the sleep. That's also possible.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thanks.
Any other question?
And also, Ma, bring the kids to Gurukul. This is the best.
Yeah, of course. You have to bring the kids to Gurukul. That's no for sure. When they are initiated by the Guru and they are taken care of by Swamiji, don't worry. They'll just fall asleep like a log. Yes. Who is this? Huawei Mate 20. I know there's a handphone model. Can you tell me what's your name?
I think this is Novida and her husband Carlos. Yes.
Oh, from Europe?
UK. From UK. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Gurukul parent.
Nithyananda.
How are you?
Good.
I want to ask you one question.
Yes.
For my son, he's 17.
Same age as my son.
Yeah. Is it okay to talk to you personally after this conversation? I want to talk to you. Yeah. How to contact you?
Sorry, what was the question? He wants to.
I want to contact you.
Oh, you want to contact me in private? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Malalau know how to reach me. No worries.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I want to share with you my son's my journey with my son also. See, the good thing is I brought him to Swamiji at a very young age. When he was 3 years old, I already started talking to him about Swamiji. So, and I trained him on yoga when he was very young. And then, for a number of years, he used to attend Swamiji's 21-day program. Every December, I'll take him on a vacation with Swamiji. So he's like Swamiji's kid, basically. So when he entered into secondary school, 13, 14, 15, 16, that 4 years, okay? That 4 years, I can tell you, I start to see the changes in him because when he go to the school, the secondary school, the influence from the external environment, and also, that's the time he entered into teenage, right? So he started to have his own idea and so there are all these factors put together. And I also started to notice he's very much spending a lot of time on the internet, his phone. And I was wondering why his whole day just watching. I don't know what he was watching. So I got worried. I was worried that he got addicted to some kind of, and he was also playing a few games. Okay. The good thing is he's not into violent games. Okay. He's into those games that challenges him mentally or like creatively. Okay. But still then I see him and also like playing games with other peers. Okay. Like those games, they play combat games and, things like that. So anyway, I was getting worried that, oh God, my son also get addicted now to this gadget thing. How to stop him and all that. So I tried to talk to him in several occasions to help him bring understanding about, having control and discipline. Okay. About this, gaming and habits of, being addicted to some kind of program and things like that. So he assured me that don't worry, I know how to handle myself. I know, but you know, at the back of mind, you just hear that he can say that, but you cannot trust him completely because you don't know what he's doing when you're not watching, right? So it went on for a while, but I realized later on, I found that those days he spent because he was not interested in school, because the school was just too boring. He told me that school is like a prison for him. It's a lot of stupidity. He feel that going there make him stupid only. So he had a lot of resistance going to school. And so how he spent a lot of time on the internet to learn something that interests him. Of course, along the way, he picked up quite a lot of other, junks because just to entertain himself, right? Because when he discovered, and one of the things that he loved is memes, right? He'll make memes and because he loved food, he loved cooking, enjoy cooking. So he go into all the, master chef, he'll go to, he'll research all the master chef, and then he'll learn from them, and you watch a lot of cooking YouTube video and things like that. And he became like a panel of people who give comment on people who submit their cooking. So, and he will be so, see, one of his favorite cooking chef is Gordon Ramsay, and you know how brutal he is when he make comments, right? So he started to he started to comment like Gordon Ramsay, like really brutal, and he would just enjoy it just for the fun of it, entertainment. But what I'm saying is that when the child is not engaged, in school, because that help them to feel their passion, they will naturally find something. And you need to help them to make sure that whatever they're doing, sometimes it's a phase thing they go through. You also need to, you cannot especially in teenager, you cannot be too violent in the sense that you stop them, you try to restrict them. If you don't do this, I cut off your pocket money, I don't give you access, take their gaming console away. All this are not going to work. Any violent technique will not work. You just create incompletion and anger towards between you and the child. Understand? Don't even go there. Bring understanding, bring completion to the kid, so that give them facts, give them, understanding about when they do this, what is happening to them. They have, let them be an independent thinker so that they can make decisions for themselves. They can, become a leader of their own life. When you try to push your wishes into them without their conscious acceptance or buy-in, it becomes violent. Okay? Don't even attempt that. It is not going to help. I see many parents, when they see their kids in their anxiety to stop them, they try to snatch their, I know I've read many cases in the West, when the parents try to take away the kid's gaming console, the kid went to kill the parent. Oh, it's just like violence. Violence begets violence. Have you seen that? Have you read that, right? Or the kids just take a revolver and just bang at the parents and just kill the parents. I've seen that in US because guns are so accessible. I mean, good thing in this part of the world, we don't have guns, you know, but the other form of violence will happen. Okay? So don't use violence way. Do it with completion and understanding so that the child will, you know, come back, rein them back to the right path and awareness. Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? We have another 15 minutes before we close the session. I hope you guys learn. Let me just take a look at any question from the internet. Oh, Ma Resmi, grateful to taking care of my infant. Yes, he's been initiated, blessed. Okay, so any other questions from this group? Yes? Denise, you want to ask a question? You have a thumbs up, yes? You want to unmute first?
Yeah. Not a question. It's Denise from Guadeloupe.
Oh, you're from Guadeloupe.
It is not really. Yes, it is not really a question, but I must share the importance of the parents. I have one not a grandson, but he's a 10-year-old. He's addicted with you know, the video game, some tablet.
Yes.
Okay. And I talk to him. I say, "Oh, you are not you are all the time on your Game Boy.
Game Boy.
You think I think you have to change a little. It is not." He answered me, "Oh, okay. When you were a child, you know these video games?" I say, no, they did not exist at this time. Ah, you can't understand me.
So he kicked you out of the conversation because you were not there.
At this moment, I say, oh my God, I know well the mother, I know the father, but they are not really open.
Yes.
And I say it's difficult. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And as a second thing, for another people, she was addicted also with the same tablet. And at this moment, she was one moment the mother is my sister. Okay.
Okay.
The mother of the child is my sister. And my sister say, "Oh, I am, tired to see you with the tablet. I take the tablet, and you have no tablet now."
And then?
At this moment, during one day, the child was in sort of violence inside, and exploded, like you say, just a minute.
Yes.
The violence, and he come back and give the tablet, but there is no relation, no conversation, etc. The addiction is a very big problem, and if the parents are not aware of that, to put beautiful cognitions, it's difficult. Okay. It is very good session. I love it.
Thank you, Denise. Okay, I tell you one thing that can move all kinds of problems. When the kids tell you, say, you don't know my world, you don't know my problem, you don't know why, like this. Even though, you live in different times, but that's one thing they will never, I would say, they can never deny, it's your love for them. If you approach for the love or the care for them, they will not reject, because that is timeless. Understand? They need to know that it is out of love and care that you're telling them, and they start listening. Not because, see, the reality is, in this internet age, this IT age, the generation of children, souls landing on planet Earth, they are all going to be internet savvy. It's an upgradation for this internet, world that they are going to live in. So that's why it is so easy for them to pick up. Our time and our grandparents' time, you give them a gadget, they will just be lost. You don't know what to do with them, right? But for them, you just give them a few hours, they know how to navigate. So they do come with certain DNA, which is adapted for the internet age. Yes. But the problem is, in this internet age, it comes with a lot of dangers and vices, because it is like an open platform, which means all kinds of nonsense are there. Okay? How can you as a parent make sure that you know what they're doing? So you see, either you train the kid to be centrally aware, and it means have the maturity to handle themselves, so that you don't have to worry, or you have to be there constantly watching them like a policeman. So which role you want? For me, I chose the role of giving them the maturity and understanding, so that they know how to take responsibility, so that I don't have to be constantly breathing down his neck. What are you doing? You're playing games again. You're wasting time. And then try to snatch away the thing. No. Give them the intelligence and respect the space, so that they can make wise decisions for themselves. Tell them when they do certain, it comes with certain consequences. They need to be mature enough to handle the responsibility and the consequences that comes with certain action, consequences. They need to understand that. So when that is done in them, they will have, the awareness to think through what is their decision is going to impact them in their future. So I think that is what parents do not have, one, the patience, nor the knowledge to teach them. That's why spiritual knowledge is so important. If you don't have, make sure the parents send to someone who has the spiritual knowledge to guide them, like a guru, Swamiji, or someone who, like in Gurukul, who can guide them back to the right path of consciousness, awareness. Okay, so I feel that a lot of kids out there in the world, many of them are going to be wasted because they don't have access to this knowledge, nor this dimension of life. That means given the right love, care, completions, allowing them to flower into their highest possibility, the ultimate. Many of the kids don't have the access to that knowledge. And if we all take responsibility as collectively, whether as a Gurukul Acharya, whether as parents, to enrich more and more kids to this knowledge, which are going to save them, save all the future generation, the next generation, from the unconscious set of society. So many things, can be, make into auspicious happening. Whereas when parents are stuck in their own way and their unconscious way, then they not only waste their life, they also waste their kids' life. I've seen that again and again. So this 18-year-old boy, which we are trying to save, hopefully to bring him back to, awareness and let him live his life. He was not able to take responsibility. He doesn't take responsibility. He can't wake up in the morning. He needs his father to wake him up. 18-year-old need father to wake up every morning. I said, this is nonsense. When are you going to take your responsibility for your life? I say, if you don't, take responsibility by 30 years old, you'll be gone, because, you'll be wasting your life. So anyway, sometimes the kids need to hear the hard truth. You need to give it to them so they wake up and they understand that what they are doing, they are wasting their life, not sugar-coated. Yes. So any other question? Yes, Denise, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question? We have 5 more minutes before we wrap up. I hope you guys find this session interesting. Anyone find it interesting? Give me a thumbs up. You're tracking me. too deep an issue. I tell you, this is too practical. That's why I decided to talk about it, because I'm actually addressing, because I'm seeing so many kids on a daily basis from Gurukul, my son, everybody, outside, and I'm seeing this is a real problem. Okay, yes, Ma.
Okay, Ma. I just have to say thank you to you, Ma. And it was really I don't know about my husband. Yes, he, of course, he looks very happy. Yeah, really, I have seen you first time, and Ma Lalo, I have to thank Ma Lalo. She's too good, and because of her, because of Swamiji, and then because of Ma Lalo, and then I got you. I'm so happy to see you, the way you spoke and the way you expression your, your experience you have been shared with us. I really felt that I also need some help from you to bring out my son, He is just 17 years old. So we just want to talk to you about his addiction. And I'm sure with the help and grace of Swamiji, you will definitely get the solution for my son, This is what I have the inner feeling from my heart.
Tatastu.
You will, yeah. Thank you so much, Ma. Really, I felt so nice after talking and listening to your speech, the way you give for the people. Oh, Ma, I'm really thank you very much once again.
Thank
I
you,
really want
Malalau.
to contact you.
Okay.
So we'll be
Swamiji's
in
blessing.
contact from Ma. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ma. We'll see
Okay.
you soon. Yeah.
Malalau, can you ask them to type their name? Because right now at the chat, the name is a handphone model. So I don't know how to pronounce their name. Can you type your name, Ma? And your husband's name as well at the chat group, so that I can register that in the couple name. Yes, that would be really appreciated. Okay, so any other question from the Chinese parents? All of them, no question at all? No problem with addiction? Come on, you only have one child policy in China, and you don't your kid, you just spoil the kids like anything. You tell me you have no problem, I don't believe. You spoil the kids and you don't have problem with the addiction, I don't believe. Come on, don't try to cheat me, okay? You better open up and tell me. You don't know how to handle your kid. Swamiji said, I will teach you through your kid. Which is true. My son taught me so many things. He's like a little Buddha to me. Please be very clear. All your children, they are here to teach you. Okay? They are here to raise you to enlightenment. Yes, Mom. Okay. For Ma Puja, blessing, So, how old is your older child?
Nithyananda.
How old is your older child?
I don't understand what.
Oh, so you're talking with the baby now, still inside? No worry lah. Ma, in your pregnancy, see, there's this thing called conscious pregnancy. In this period, try as much as possible, infuse a lot of consciousness, whether it's listening to all the scriptures, the Vedic teachings, all the teaching. Just start them when start building their muscle memory when you are still in the process of creation. Okay? Program their muscle memory when you are still creating them in your womb. Okay? That's the best way. So they'll come out like Prahlada, child prodigy, enlightened. So create the whole space within you. Do a lot of completion as well within yourself, and remove all violence. If you have been violent in the way you've been brought up, complete all violence pattern, you will see that you will attract very highly intelligent soul through your body. It's almost like enlightened being. You just be celebrating, the child, enlightened soul. Okay. So right now, how many months are you pregnant, Ma?
It's 8 months.
8 months. Okay. So you're almost there. One more month only. Okay, take 1 more month and start doing. Do you do anything? Do you do the,
I'm chanting Mahavakya and seeing oneness capsules.
Okay.
Also
Also do
taking
some chanting, some scriptures, you know, like Vedic scriptures. Do that, ma. Are you doing yoga also, prenatal yoga?
No, I'm on bed rest. I can't. Only doctor allowed me to go for PO, not
Wow.
to.
Okay. It's because your placenta is low lying.
No, it's like my cervix is very short.
Okay, so some condition. Okay, so blessing for a healthy delivery with no complication. Tatastu. Okay, so start now. Now you only have like 1 month to prepare. Start, you know, doing whatever that is going to help in your delivery. Okay.
Okay.
Blessing. Okay. All right, so we come to the end of today's session. Since no more question, if you want to ask me, you can, you know, contact me privately. But I'm very, very happy that all of you came to this session, and hopefully this has been a useful session. Please share your feedback through the Facebook chat under Singapore Ardinum, where you can also watch this again if you feel that you have missed some part. You can watch it and do share your feedback. I will be more than happy to address this in this, in the Facebook for your answer, you know, the question you're asking. So I'll give you the answer, whatever that needs to be followed up from this session. So with that, I really want to conclude this session. Thank you all for joining. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Saubham Bhagavashi Nithyananda Paramashiva Parka Paramastu. Om Nithyanandam. Thank you, Nithyanandam.